The knife slipped in my hand, slicing a thin line across my thumb as I stared at the text message glowing on my husband's phone. Blood welled up, hot and sticky, mingling with the flour dusting the cutting board where I'd been prepping the Christmas ham. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, love. Wear that red dress I bought you last year. Reminds me of our nights. Sent from Sarah, his ex. The one he'd sworn was ancient history, a ghost from before we met. My heart slammed against my ribs like a trapped animal, fury igniting in my chest, but I didn't scream. Not yet. I wiped the blood on my apron, tasting the metallic tang of betrayal as I forced a smile. Christmas Eve dinner was in 2 hours, and our guests, his family, were on their way. But in that moment, as the snow whispered against the window panes, I knew this holiday wouldn't end in cheer. It would end in fire. I set the phone back on the counter exactly as I'd found it, screen dimming like a secret fading into shadow. My hands trembled as I bandaged my thumb, the sting a pale echo of the ache blooming in my gut. How long? How many business trips had been excuses to slip back into her arms? Sarah, with her perfect laugh and that effortless grace I'd envied from photos he'd hidden away. We'd been married 5 years, built a life in this cozy suburban home with its twinkling lights strung along the eaves, the scent of pine from our tree filling the air. I'd trusted him, God, how I'd trusted him. Denial crept in like frost on glass. Maybe it was a joke, a misunderstanding. But no. The message history scrolled in my mind, fragments I'd glimpsed before guilt made me stop. Miss you. Thinking of last time. My stomach churned, humiliation washing over me in waves. I was the fool, the wife who'd baked cookies and planned surprises while he plotted reunions. Elena. You okay in there? Mark's voice drifted from the living room, casual, laced with that boyish charm that had once made my knees weak. Now it grated like nails on chalkboard. I gripped the counter, forcing breath into my lungs. Anger surged, hot and unbidden. Visions of smashing his phone, confronting him in a blaze of righteous fury. But what then? Tears, apologies, promises he'd break again. Whoa. Resentment coiled tighter, a serpent in my chest. I needed more than words. I needed him to feel this pain, to choke on it. I straightened, plastering on a smile as I carried the ham to the oven. The kitchen felt smaller, the walls pressing in with the weight of unspoken lies. Outside, snow fell thicker, blanketing the driveway in pristine white, mocking the storm inside me. Mark wandered in, wrapping his arms around my waist from behind. His cologne, sandalwood and citrus, once comforting, now turned my stomach. Smells amazing, babe. Can't wait for tomorrow. Oh, and hey, I invited Sarah to stop by for Christmas lunch. You know, keep things civil for old time's sake. His words landed like a slap, casual as if discussing the weather. I froze, the dish towel twisting in my fists. Sarah. Your ex. My voice came out steady, but inside, heartbreak splintered like glass. He nodded, oblivious, pouring himself a scotch. Yeah, she's in town, no family this year. Figured it'd be nice. We're all adults, right? Adults. The word burned. Humiliation deepened. Did he think me so pliable, so desperate to please? I nodded, murmuring agreement, but my mind raced. Obsession took root. I'd make him regret this. Not with screams or divorce papers. Too clean, too quick. No, something sharper, more intimate. As he kissed my cheek and retreated to watch football, I poured myself a glass of wine, the crimson liquid swirling like blood. Fantasies bloomed, her arriving only to find the door locked, or worse, me exposing their affair in front of his judgmental mother. But doubt nipped at the edges. Was I capable of that? Guilt flickered. We'd had good times, laughter over late-night movies. His hand in mine during my father's funeral. Was this revenge or self-destruction? The doorbell rang, shattering my reverie. His family piled in. His mother, Evelyn, with her pinched smile and perpetual disapproval. His brother, Tom, boisterous and beer-bellied, and Tom's wife, Lisa, who eyed me with that pitying look reserved for the childless couple. We sat around the dining table, candles flickering, silverware clinking against plates. Laughter filled the room, but it rang hollow in my ears. Mark squeezed my hand under the table, his thumb tracing circles, a gesture that once sparked warmth, now ignited rage. "So, Elena, still no little ones on the way?" Evelyn asked, her fork poised mid-air, eyes gleaming with feigned concern. I forced a laugh, but inside resentment flared. Mark and I had tried for years, the failure's a silent wound between us. Had he confided in Sarah? Shared our intimate struggles while I grieved alone? "Not yet," I replied, voice light. "But Christmas is about family, right? Mark even invited his ex tomorrow, Sarah. Should be cozy." The table fell silent. Evelyn's eyebrows shot up. Tom choked on his wine. Mark's hand stiffened in mine. "What? You didn't mention that," Evelyn said, turning to him with a frown. He chuckled awkwardly. "It's no big deal, Mom. Just being friendly." Friendly. The word twisted like a knife. I watched his discomfort, a small victory fueling my resolve. As dessert was served, my homemade pecan pie, flaky and sweet, the conversation shifted but tension lingered, thick as the cream on top. Later, as we cleared plates, Lisa pulled me aside in the kitchen, her whisper conspiratorial. "Sarah, really? You okay with that?" I met her gaze, eyes steady. "Why wouldn't I be? Unless there's something I should know." She hesitated, glancing away, a tell. Heartbreak surged anew. "Did everyone know but me?" "Just, old flames can burn," she murmured, patting my arm before slipping out. Alone with the dishes, suds bubbling under my hands, I plotted. The house quieted as guests left, snow crunching under tires. Mark collapsed on the couch, remote in hand. "Great night, huh?" he said, yawning. I nodded, slipping upstairs to our bedroom. The mirror reflected a stranger, eyes shadowed, lips pressed thin. Cold resolve settled in, pushing aside guilt. I'd invite someone too. Not just anyone, my old flame Derek. The one Mark had always been jealous of. The artist who'd broken my heart but left embers. A quick search on my phone found his number. We'd stayed loosely connected on social media. "Hey, long time. Fancy Christmas lunch tomorrow. Old friends catching up." His reply came fast. "Elena? Wow, sure. Address." Satisfaction bloomed, laced with fear. Was this justice or pettiness? Moral conflict gnawed. Tit for tat felt juvenile, yet the thought of Mark's face when Derek walked in. It thrilled me. I deleted the messages, heart pounding, and slid into bed beside Mark. His arm draped over me, heavy and possessive. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, snow muffling the world outside. Tomorrow, the real unwrapping would begin. Christmas morning dawned crisp, sunlight glinting off fresh powder like diamonds. Mark hummed carols in the shower, oblivious. I dressed carefully, a fitted green sweater that hugged my curves, jeans that flattered. Downstairs, the tree sparkled with ornaments we'd collected together. The glass bauble from our honeymoon in Paris, the wooden star from his proposal. Each one a reminder of what he'd tainted. I set the table for 4. Us, Sarah, and now Derek. Subtle hints. An extra wine glass, a place card with Derek's name tucked away for the reveal. The doorbell chimed at noon. Mark answered, his voice warm. "Sarah, Merry Christmas." She stepped in, snowflakes melting in her auburn hair, that red dress clinging like a second skin. Jealousy spiked, sharp and unwelcome. She hugged him a beat too long, her laugh tinkling like bells. "Mark, you look great." "Elena, hi, thanks for having me." I smiled, teeth gritted. "Of course. Wine." As I poured, our eyes met, hers knowing, mine veiled. Conversation flowed awkwardly at first, Mark steering topics to safe waters. Work, weather. Sarah gushed about her new job in marketing, her hand brushing his arm. Humiliation burned. Was this how he'd pictured it? Me, the gracious host, while they flirted under my nose. Then the second doorbell. Mark frowned. "Expecting someone?" Feigned surprise. Oh right, I invited an old friend. Hope that's okay. Derek entered, tall and brooding, his dark eyes lighting on me. Elena, you haven't changed. He kissed my cheek, lingering, his scent of paint and coffee stirring old memories. Mark's face paled, jaw tightening. Derek. What the? Tension crackled, the air thick with unspoken accusations. Sarah shifted uncomfortably, sensing the shift. Lunch proceeded in strained politeness. Turkey carved with forced cheer, potatoes passed in silence. Under the table, Derek's knee brushed mine, a deliberate spark. Mark's eyes darted between us, resentment mirroring my own from last night. As pie was served, Sarah excused herself to the bathroom. Mark leaned in, voice low and furious. What the hell, Elena? Inviting your ex? On Christmas? I met his gaze, cold resolve stealing me. You invited yours. Fair's fair, right? His eyes widened, guilt flashing before anger masked it. That's different. Sarah and I are just friends. Friends? I echoed, sarcasm dripping. Derek chuckled softly, adding fuel. Come on, man. Lighten up. It's the holidays. Sarah returned, oblivious or pretending, but the atmosphere thickened, suspense building like a storm cloud. After they left, Sarah first, awkward hugs. Derek lingering with a promise to call. The house fell silent. Mark paced, scotch in hand. This was payback, wasn't it? For inviting her. Heartbreak resurfaced, tears pricking. You tell me. Why her, Mark? Really? He hesitated, then deflated. It's nothing. Just nostalgia. Nostalgia. The word fueled my obsession. That night as he slept, I slipped to the guest room, phone in hand. Digging deeper, emails, photos. Proof piled up, hotel receipts, late-night calls. Resentment hardened into something darker. Inviting Derek was just the start. True revenge required more. Exposure, perhaps, or something to shatter him as he'd shattered me. Guilt warred with fury. Was I becoming the monster? But no, the betrayal was his. Mine would be justice. Weeks blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. Mark tiptoed around me, apologies laced with defensiveness. It was a mistake, Elena. One time, okay, a few. But it's over. His confession came that Christmas night, forced by my silence. Heartbreak had given way to cold calculation. I nodded, pretended forgiveness, but inside, plans fermented like wine turning to vinegar. Our home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a stage set for drama. Mornings brought the clink of coffee mugs. His tentative smiles met with my measured responses. I returned to work, teaching literature at the local college, where students' essays on betrayal in Shakespeare mirrored my life. Irony twisted like a knife. Derek texted sporadically. That was fun. Drinks soon. I replied vaguely, using him as a pawn, guilt gnawing at the edges. He had his own wounds, our breakup years ago over my indecision, but exploiting that felt morally gray, a line I towed with growing unease. Subtle hints of my scheme emerged. Anonymous emails to Sarah's work, hinting at impropriety. A lost earring of hers planted in Mark's car for me to find. Each act built tension, his paranoia growing. Why are you so distant? He'd ask, voice edged with fear. I'd smile, just tired. But my mind raced with fantasies. Him begging, her ruined, me triumphant. Doubt crept in during quiet moments. Was revenge worth the poison seeping into my soul? Obsession consumed me. Sleep evaded, replaced by visions of their trysts, resentment festering. One evening, as rain lashed the windows, Mark confronted me in the kitchen. Pots simmered on the stove, steam curling like secrets. I know you're up to something. Those weird calls Sarah mentioned. Stop it, Elena. This isn't you. Isn't me. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You don't know me anymore, Mark. Not since you chose her. His face crumpled, guilt raw. I was weak. Stressed from work, the baby stuff. It meant nothing. Nothing. The word ignited fury. It meant everything to me. Tears burned, but I held them back, resolve hardening. That night I escalated. A forged letter to his boss, implying embezzlement. Subtle, traceable to Sarah if investigated. Moral conflict raged. This could destroy careers, lives. But betrayal's scar throbbed, justifying the gray. Spring thawed the snow, but not the chill between us. Sarah called once, voice trembling. "What's going on?" "Mark says you're harassing me." Feigned innocence. Harassing. No idea. Her silence spoke volumes. Hidden motives surfaced. She'd pursued him, knowing he was married. Layered resentment. Not just victim but instigator. Derek invited me to his studio. Paint splattered across canvases like emotional explosions. "You look haunted," he said, brushing a strand from my face. Temptation flickered. Escape into his arms, true revenge. But fear held me. What if it backfired? Instead, I confided fragments. His empathy fueling my plans. "Make him pay," he urged. His own bitterness from our past adding complexity. The climax brewed at our anniversary dinner. Ironic, planned months ago at a seaside restaurant. Waves crashed outside. Salt air mingling with garlic and wine. Mark raised a glass, eyes pleading. "To us. Fresh start." I clinked, smiling, but slipped a note under his napkin. Photos of their affair, printed and damning. He paled, unfolding it. "Elena, how?" Suspense peaked as I leaned in. "I sent an invitation of my own, to Truth. Sarah's getting copies too, plus your family, your boss." Panic flashed in his eyes. "Please no. I'll do anything." Guilt surged. His desperation human, flawed like me. But obsession won. Too late. As we drove home, rain blurring the windshield, he begged. "I love you. This will ruin us." Heartbreak echoed. Did I still love him? The twist came then. A call from Sarah, hysterical. "It's not what you think." Mark ended it. I was the one pushing. "I'm pregnant." "It's his." The world tilted. Shock jolted through me. Fury mingling with unexpected pity. Pregnant. The one thing we'd craved, denied to us, gifted to her. Cold resolve shattered into chaos. At home, Mark confessed fully. A brief relapse, her obsession turning manipulative. I was ending it for good. Moral gray deepened. My revenge had targeted the wrong villain, or perhaps amplified the wrong pain. I halted the letters, but the damage lingered. Trust evaporated, our marriage a husk. In the end, poetic justice twisted back on me. Sarah miscarried from stress. Guilt mine now. Mark left, seeking solace elsewhere. I sat alone in our empty house. Snow returning unseasonably, blanketing regrets. Revenge tasted like ash, but in the quiet, resolve reformed. Not destruction but rebirth. I packed boxes, invited Derek for real this time. Betrayal had forged me sharper, but the pursuit had cost my soul's softness. The invitation I'd sent. To my own freedom.